Hey guys, it's Ashley, and today we're going to be doing my January wrap-up and February TBR. Let's just get started. So the last TBR wrap-up video that I put on my channel, I asked you guys if you liked me doing a TBR, and a majority of you said yes, and so that's what I'm gonna keep doing, regardless of whether I stick to it or not. I actually realized that I prefer it. I like it that it gives me a plan, and if I don't know what to read, I can just go off of what I said in my TBR, so I'm gonna do it. But we are going to start with the wrap-up. So the first book that I read in January was A Court of Thorns and Roses by Sarah J. Maas. I gave this 5 stars, and I already have a book talk up on my channel for it. I will leave a link to it down below if you want to check that out. Like I said, 5 stars, really great book. I can't wait for the next one. I don't even think that I should give a synopsis for it, just because 1, I already have a book talk up, and 2, everybody already knows what the series is about. So I think I'm just gonna leave it at this. So the second book that I read in the month of January was Wayfarer by Alexandra Bracken. I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. I liked it better than Passenger. It's not something that I could just binge read like the entire day. I had to take breaks in between because when you're reading it, it seems a lot bigger and longer than it actually looks. And the story, there were some parts that were just kind of slow going, and I had to push myself through them before I got to the action-packed parts. So definitely liked it better than the first one. I thought that the ending was absolutely amazing, and I would highly recommend picking this series up. If not anything, just to make it to this last book, because it's so good. So the third book that I read in January was A Fire and Stars by Audrey Coulthurst. This was the Owl Crate's December book of the month, and I gave it 4 stars, I think? 4 or 4.5, one of those two, I'm not sure. It was really great, and I really loved it. The beginning was kind of slow going, and it took me a while to actually warm up to the characters and start actually liking them, but I would say about a third of the way through the book, it really started picking up, and like I needed to know what was gonna happen, so I just had to keep reading. I know that a lot of people have already seen this book because this is a book that's going around BookTube recently. I'm just gonna give the little synopsis that everybody puts on their channel, and that is, this book is about a girl who is betrothed to a prince and falls in love with the princess. This was actually my first diverse book that I read this year, and I'm super excited to continue because it was just as amazing as I thought it was gonna be, so. The fourth book, I'm not even done yet, guys. I read 5 books this month. I'm so proud of myself. The fourth book that I read this month was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. For those of you who don't know or haven't seen my wrap-up TBR from last month, I'm actually hosting a read-along with a couple of other booktubers for The Mortal Instruments. We're reading 1 book a month, and we're gonna have live shows and everything. I'm not gonna get into any more information about that. I'm actually gonna make a mini actual announcement video about it, and so I'll leave a link down below if you wanna watch afterwards. It's really casual, so if you ever wanted to read The Mortal Instruments, wanted to reread The Mortal Instruments, or have already read them and just wanna know our thoughts and talk to more people about them, this is the read-along for you guys. And we were supposed to have a live show last night, but not enough people could make it on our end, host-wise, so we had to postpone it. And we are going to have a live show for both City of Bones and City of Ashes at the end of this month, we promise. So on to what I thought of the book. Obviously 5 stars. I don't know how it wouldn't have been. I love rereading this book because you see so many things that you didn't know before. I remember the first time that I read this book, I remember when the very first scene when they were in the Pandemonium Club, I noticed that Simon had said, DJ Bat is doing an exceptional job tonight, don't you think? And immediately I was like, holy crap, Bat is mentioned in the first scene, and we don't even know who he is yet. So it was just like, it was really cool to just, I love it, and I can't wait for the rest of the series. Now, the last book that I read this month was Overruled by Brittany Joy. I actually started this on the last day of January and just finished it, I think, February 1st or 2nd. So I'm just gonna count it in my January wrap-up anyways, that way you don't have to wait for my thoughts about it next wrap-up. The author herself, Brittany Joy, actually sent me this book for free in exchange for a review, and I'm so happy that I accepted, because this book was so good. I feel like I had just been expecting something completely different than what it actually was, and when I started reading it, it just was so addicting. I just kept reading, and before I knew it, I was halfway done with the book, and I had only just started it like 2 hours ago, and I was like, what's happening? I gave it actually 4.5 stars, which it was just really good. So we follow two main characters, Nova and Jade. Nova was born in the kingdom city of Sterling that is ruled currently by a monarch, but when she was little, her dad took her away to go live in some tribal countryside or whatever, but now they've returned so that they can rescue her cousin Asher after his parents have just been killed, and this kid is like 10, so he has no idea what he's doing. Jade, on the other hand, is the princess who is going to take over the throne of this kingdom, Sterling, but her mother is the queen, and her mother has these plans to, like, never make sure that she takes over so that her mom can continue ruling. These two characters are so badass, and they go and they fight for what they believe in, and they fight for what they want, and I just love them so much. I grew to love them so much in this little amount of time. I definitely like Nova better. Nova is like my girl. Jade I like, but Nova, I love her. In addition to those two, we also follow Kale, not through his point of view, but he's just another character who intertwines their stories together. He is one of the royal guards of the castle, and I have no idea if I like or dislike him, guys. He's so morally ambiguous to me. I don't know if he has some kind of secret motive that he's not showing us and we won't find out until the next book, and everything that he tells them I feel like is just a blatant lie. So I'm really excited to know what's gonna happen in the next book. So this was really good, like, no joke. It was just really good. And in addition to sending me the book, Brittany Joy also signed it for me, which was incredible. And she also sent me some bookish goodies. She sent me one of her own bookmarks, a really nice note, and a necklace. Like, thank you so much. This is so sweet of you. Thank you. And so now we're gonna move on to my February TBR. I don't have a lot of expectations in February. I feel like schoolwork is really gonna pick up, but I'm still going to try my hardest to read as much as I can. So the first book that I'm planning on reading, not in any particular order, but just the first one that I grabbed off my pile, was City of Ashes by Cassandra Clare. Obviously, I'm reading this for our Mortal Instruments read-along, and again, the link will be in the description below for that announcement. But yes, City of Ashes, I'm so excited because the only thing that I remember about this book is everything about Simon, and not even half of what happens to Simon. I don't remember anything that happens to Jace, Clary, Alec, Isabel, Magnus. Nothing, which is really sad because this is my favorite series of all time. So, probably should pick this up very soon. The next book that I'm planning on reading is The Sun Is Also a Star by Nicola Yoon. I know I put this in my last TBR, but I never got around to it, and I am determined to read this freaking book, so I'm just gonna put it in every single TBR until I finally read it. So here it is. I'm pretty sure this book takes place in a matter of 24 hours, and it's about this girl Natasha whose family is being threatened of being deported to Jamaica, and she only has 24 hours, I guess, and she meets this guy, and they start talking, and it hits a lot of hard-hitting points and things that we should be talking about. And I'm just really excited to pick it up because everybody says that it's an amazing book, and I'm just so excited. The next book that I hope I can get to, but I probably won't, and I'm just gonna put it in here anyways, is Labyrinth Lost by Zoraida Cordova. I haven't actually hauled this book yet, so here it is, guys. I don't really know much about this book. All I really know is that it's about this girl named Alex, and she's a bruja, or a bruja, which is kind of like this witch, and she does something and all of her family disappears suddenly, and she has to figure out how to get them back, maybe. I'm not 100% sure if that's what it's about, but I'm pretty sure that's something like it, possibly. I actually picked this up in Barnes & Noble, reading it for the diversity bingo that I'm doing, so I'm really excited to get into this. This features a Latinx author and main character, so it is an own voices book, and I'm very excited. The next book that I'm planning on reading, because I don't feel like getting it off of my shelf, is An Ember in the Ashes by Saba Tahir. It'll be right here. It's also way back here on my shelf, but it's under the Raven Cycle and I don't feel like getting it out. I've just heard so much about this book and I've been meaning to get around to it forever, and now is my chance. I have no idea what it's about. It's a high fantasy. That's all I know. And so the last book that I have on my list is Violet Grenade by Victoria Scott. I was contacted by her assistant and asked if I wanted to review her book, and after reading the synopsis I was like, yeah, this sounds really good, so I accepted. The synopsis kind of still is a little confusing to me, but I'm gonna try to summarize it the best that I can. So as far as I know, this book is about this girl named Domino and this boy named Kane. I'm not really sure who Kane is at this point, but I know that Domino gets taken in by this woman named Madame Karina, and she runs this home. I'm not really sure what the home is about, but she runs this home. Domino has to kind of work her way up to get her approval, and she gets bullied and has to do crazy things along the way. The whole entire time she has a voice inside of her head whose name is Wilson, so I don't know if she has dissociative identity disorder or some kind of form of schizophrenia or something like that, where she's hearing this voice, but that, I guess, is what's gonna happen. I'm really kind of interested how that is portrayed and how it's going to play out in the book, because everybody who's reviewed it on Goodreads has basically given it 5 stars, and everybody's saying that it's a YA psychological thriller, and so I'm really excited because I haven't read a psychological thriller before, and I just want to know what's gonna happen, and I'm really excited to read it. And so you guys, that is going to be it for my wrap-up and TBR for January and February. Thank you so much for watching. If you guys have read any of these books, please let me know what you thought of them in the comments, because I'd love to know. If you want to follow me on social media, all of my links are in the description below. I am a-ash12 on Instagram, Twitter, and Goodreads, so you can go say hi to me there. Thank you so much for watching again, and I'll catch you later. Bye!